reparation loans. So, Mr. President, you were quite optimistic about the political decisions yesterday, but it seems not to have happened yet. What's your view on that? Is it disappointing now for you? And Prime Minister Frederiksen, Prime Minister Schoof, why the Council conclusions were changed yesterday? Like the leaders didn't give the green light to the Commission to develop the legal framework for these reparation loans. What would the discussion look like yesterday? And Prime Minister Starmer, for you, is the EU could join to share this financial burden, because the EU aims to bring on board all the G7 countries? Thanks.
Yeah, I will begin. Thank you. So I think that the decision with Russian frozen assets is crucial for us, and but I think that there are 3 steps in this question with frozen assets. The first one is political decision, then practical decision, and then implementation. And I think that yesterday we've got political decision. That's why I think this is positive signal. Then practical decision. We hope that we can get it to the end of this year. And only after that, implementation. So that's, God bless, we can have at the very beginning of the year. But we will see. Thank you.
Mette probably makes sense.
Yes, let me be very clear. I think the idea of a so-called reparation loan is good. I haven't seen any alternative. And the idea of letting Russia pay for the damages they have done in Ukraine is the only way forward. Of course, there are some technical questions that has to be answered. There are a lot of details that we have to work on. But first and foremost, this is a political decision and a political choice. I support the idea totally, and I think we have to work in a way that we have a solution before Christmas Eve, so we are able to ensure that we can finance Ukraine for the next years. I know some colleagues find this way forward more difficult than I do, and we have to solve the problems, but I also have to say, what is the alternative? The alternative is not to let Russia win this war, and the alternative is not to ask all the Europeans to pay instead of Russia. So we need to solve the technical issues. I am sure that we will be able to do that, and then we will hopefully, I will work for that, have a decision before Christmas Eve.
Dick, did you want to?
Yeah, thank you. And of course, I fully agree with Mette. But let me just add a few points. The political decision yesterday was made, and that's very important, that we are going to financially support Ukraine in 26 and 27. And that's an important decision we made yesterday. It's important for Ukraine, it's important for the European Union, it's important for all our partners. Then the second issue is that we talked about, and I think this is an important issue. Of course, you can say it's technical or financial, but there are risks, and we talk about mutualization of risks. And I heard a lot of countries and leaders yesterday say that they want a guarantee. And that's important because we have to share the risk, and it cannot be only put only on Belgium. And then third of all, I hope, just as Mette said, that we come to an agreement on the technical workout of the reparation loan, because financially it's going to be important, but also politically it's important to hurt Russia, and therefore I'm much in favor. Thank you.
Just linking the two, if I may. Firstly, the political decision that was made yesterday by the EU is really significant, and we shouldn't lose that. The question of the Russian assets has always been complicated and difficult, and there's no pretending otherwise, and it is really important that the detail is worked through. I think Mette is right to say putting a timetable around that makes complete sense, but I wouldn't underestimate the significance of the move that was made yesterday, and a very high level of agreement today that we need to make progress on that. In relation to your broader point about the UK and the EU in particular, yes, we are coordinating a lot of what we do, and that is a very good thing. It's a very good thing in the field of Ukraine. We are doing it much more broadly on defence and security and trade and the economy, actually. That reflects a number of things. Firstly, our shared and long-held belief that we are most effective in our support for Ukraine when we act as a group of countries, whether that's the EU and the UK working together, as we have done on most of the sanction packages. It's no accident that we act at the same time, or the wider group of the coalition of the willing. And just to emphasise something that Vladimir said, it was welcome to have the new Prime Minister of Japan on the call today. I think it was her first international engagement, and she made a statement of principle about where she stands, and it was a very strong statement to the coalition of the willing. The fact that she chose this forum as her first international contribution and was so clear and powerful in her words, I think emphasises that that coalition and the ability to bring together so many countries here is really important. So the first reason the UK and the EU are working well together is because of that most effective rule. The second is, since the EU-UK reset, I am proud and pleased to say we are coordinating much more across a wider range of issues. We live in a world where there are many, many challenges, many opportunities, and my strong view is that when the UK and the EU are able to work together, as we've shown we are able to, we're better able to meet those challenges. And of course, having Mark here heading up NATO gives you a sense of the depth of the group of countries now working together really pretty effectively in relation to our defence of Ukraine. Thank you very much. Mark, I'm going to ask you to call your question.